beneficence is a duty. He who often practices this, and sees his beneficent purpose succeed, comes at last really to love him whom he has benefited. When, therefore, it is said, "Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself," this does not mean, "Thou shalt first of all love, and by means of this love do him good," but "Do good to thy neighbor, and this beneficence will produce in thee the love of men." Love is a matter of feeling, not of will or volition. And I cannot love because I will to do so, still less because I ought, hence there is no such thing as a duty to love. Love is spoken of as being also our duty, but all duty is necessitation or constraint, although it may be self-constraint according to a law. But what is done from constraint is not done from love. It is a duty to do good to other men according to our power, whether we love them or not, and this duty loses nothing of its weight. Although we must make the sad remark that our species, alas, is not such as to be found particularly worthy of love when we know it more closely. The more we devote ourselves to observing animals and their behavior, the more we love them, on seeing how greatly they care for their young. In such a context, we cannot even contemplate cruelty to a wolf. It is a very beautiful thing to do good to men, from love to them and from sympathetic goodwill, or to be just from love of order. But this is not yet the true moral maxim of our conduct which is suitable to our position amongst rational beings as men, when we pretend with fanciful pride to set ourselves above the thought of duty, like volunteers, and, as if we were independent on the command, to want to do of our own good pleasure what we think we need no command to do. In fact, when the thinking man has conquered the temptations to vice, and is conscious of having done his duty, he finds himself in a state of peace and satisfaction, which may well be called happiness, in which virtue is her own reward. By a lie a man throws away, and, as it were, annihilates his dignity as a man who himself does not believe. What he tells another has even less worth than if he were a mere thing, for a thing, as something real and given, has the property of being serviceable, and another person can make some use of it. Lack of sex in the long term eventually turns a person into a neurotic. To a high degree we are, through art and science, cultured, we are civilized, perhaps too much for our own good, in all sorts of social grace and decorum, but to consider ourselves as having reached morality, for that, much is lacking.